big gains in the last game. They're off to a good start here. So,
I just shot my shot. Through that, I'm trying to make
You know, one of the things we talked about Friday night was about how endurance is really a key factor for both teams. Tennessee being able, after had such a big advantage, you know, they can't play with all that all the time. So,
scoring over 70 shots on goal.
Test 1 2, test 1 2. Sorry, guys, we should be back now. Apologies for all the technical issues and the delays up until this point in the game. But just a little information. We will not be having the score bug again for tonight. Due to some technical difficulties with our setup, we are actively working on that for hopefully, maybe, possibly the South Carolina game, but in the future, next semester when Tennessee starts playing again. But just a little update, 7:21 left in the first. The clock is currently not running on the scoreboard, but I don't know if anybody knows that. Must not be, because it's still not running down. Now we've got it going. So clock is now running. Got an extra 30 seconds there of hockey. But the score is 1-0 Tennessee, as Tennessee came out early with Bryce Harmon scoring an unassisted goal. John, do you want to run that back for us?
Yeah, it was a perfectly, set up shot, unassisted goal for Herman. Shot it between the goaltender's legs. Scored within 30 seconds of the game. Tennessee off to a strong start early here. Offensive pressure going on right now, and Tennessee doesn't seem to be letting up here against a newly formed Georgia Southern team.
Yeah, so like we were saying earlier, unfortunately you couldn't hear us, but endurance is going to be the key for both these teams. I was saying earlier that Tennessee has such a massive team. They function almost like NHL, AHL team with affiliates. These D1, with Tennessee having a D1 team and a D3 team, players have the ability to be called up and perform, if they're performing at a higher level, be able to be brought up to that D1 team. But oftentimes, they stay on the D3 team just because it's such a great environment for learning and developing that team camaraderie that you need to operate at a D1 level.
And there's another goal, Sawyer.
That'll do it for Tennessee hockey as they get another goal in less than 5 minutes here in the first.
that looked to be a shot, you know, like on the goalie's right side, just like crazy deflection that somehow gets underneath him and into the back of the net.
Yeah, it looked like he thought he might have had it between the legs, but just sneaked in enough past the red line to count it as a goal.
Yeah.
And a bit of a slow reaction from Tennessee to see whether or not it was a goal. And it seems like Adam Carter just poked it in. Or no, it was Liam DeGroff, sorry, with assists from Adam Carter and Peter Hoffman. So back to hockey as Tennessee is fighting on the boards. Georgia Southern picks up a loose stick. Back to Connor Berry. And Georgia Southern will take it to try to get a offensive play here. That was Damian Spitzer, I believe is his name. Damian Spitz, sorry, from Georgia Southern, kind of taking the puck there to maybe get a look at some offense there. Damian Spitz was scored both goals on Friday with Georgia Southern against Tennessee. One of their X Factor players, I would say, for this game today. But kind of going back to endurance, Tennessee has such a big team that, you know, they have a rotating list of players that, you know, some don't play, some play, and it allows them to stay really fresh in weekends like this where they have 2 games and they have to play late on Friday night and early Sunday morning, and it gives them the opportunity to play at their best all the time. Whereas Georgia Southern, being such a young team, you know, they're running about, and I said this Friday night, about 2.5 lines. They have just enough players to maybe create some customization for some special teams, but about 2.5 lines, not a full squad out on the bench. So it causes a lot of burnout, a lot of fatigue in the games, where in games like this where it's crucial that you're giving your all the time. So
Yeah, Sawyer, I don't know if my eyes deceive me, but I feel like Georgia Southern's bench has gone just slightly bigger than it was on Friday night. Maybe 1-2 extra players, you know.
I think it may be the ref just hanging out down there. He may be
Could be.
wanting to jump in for Georgia Southern.
He's a pretty big guy, so
Yeah.
you could definitely take some body hits and checks and stuff like that.
And the puck is gained in the neutral zone by Georgia Southern. A diving block there from number 26, Gavin O'Connell. One of the defensemen on the Tennessee Ice Falls team, a defenseman with a hat trick, something you rarely see in all of hockey. A pretty remarkable feat, wouldn't you say, Charon?
Oh, remarkable feat there. You know, defensemen, their primary role is to be defensemen. They're not the primary goal scorers. You pass those up to the forwards usually. So for Andrew Livingstone to get a hat trick as a defenseman the last game was pretty remarkable. He's looking like a future Cale Makar out there, offensive defenseman, if you will, and you know, props to him.
Georgia Southern doing a really good job now, sort of finding their footing as we are quickly approaching the middle of this period. Tennessee still getting shots on the goal for a possible 3rd goal here in the first. A quick snapshot from Ethan Duffy, back at the point. It'll slide down to William Shine, who's in goal for Tennessee today. His 3rd game of the season. Brian Kelly had a great game Friday night, allowing only 2 goals to Tennessee 10. And that'll go offsides as we get a face-off in the neutral zone.
You know, I'm for Tennessee in this game. I'm looking for, you know, what they did in the last game. They have a good start to this period so far. They stayed out of the box pretty well in the last game. They put on the pressure. They put shots on goal, and so far they seem to be sticking to their momentum that they carried over from the last game. So Georgia Southern's going to have to find a way to break through that, and as you can see, they're getting some chances here.
Yeah, it seems like they're now starting to maybe focus on generating more offense and let off the defensive backpedal. As Andrew Livingstone, the hat trick scorer on Friday night, takes the puck. He will lose it to Georgia Southern as Georgia Southern gets a possible breakaway opportunity here, but Peter Hoffman, the X-Factor defenseman for Tennessee, breaks it up. And that is Gavin O'Donnell. Gavin O'Donnell and Gavin O'Connell. They're really making it tough on us here in the booth to distinguish the two. Pretty remarkable, though, I would say, that they're even able to play on the same team with the same name. The coincidence of that happening is
I remember
unbelievable.
a few weeks ago, Sawyer, that both O'Connell and O'Donnell scored maybe 5-6 combined goals in the same game against, it was either Florida or Alabama, and you know, for the for the score sheet keepers, that must have been rather confusing.
Absolutely. And it looks like we may get a penalty on Tennessee. What I believe was a possible tripping call. We'll see here. Either way, Georgia Southern will be going on the power play. A crucial advantage for them. As we saw Friday night, they were able to, get some more offensive advantages, like all teams do on the power play, but it seemed to suit them even more so than Tennessee due to their small squad size.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity here for Georgia Southern to cut into this lead early, get some momentum back. Down 2-0 within 5 minutes of the game. Not a strong start, but this power play could prove pivotal going forward.
That was a laser shot by Grant Dye on William Shine, but went right to the chest, really able to keep that in. So we'll get a face-off. An unbelievable goal there by Caden Lemoyne, really quick with it. Great passing play by, we'll see here in a sec. I wasn't able to see his number, but a great passing play from the back of the goal. William Shine thinking that the Georgia Southern player at the bottom there, I think it was Damian Spitz, was going to try and poke it in at the bottom left from his point of view, but Damian Spitz, a very unselfish player, like we were talking about, an X-Factor player for Georgia Southern, takes the pass to Caden Lemoyne to knock it in there. A great angle, great look on the goal from Caden Lemoyne to be able to lose the possibility of a shutout for William Shine, but that's all right as we get a breakaway opportunity from Damian Spitz, and unfortunate backhand comes up no good as William Shine pokes his shoulder out there. Tennessee will look to recover in their defensive zone.
Looks like we have a high sticking call, so it's going to be another penalty on the ice, and this one's going to go against Tennessee again. So Georgia Southern already capitalizing on one power play, and the Vols, just committed another penalty. So Georgia Southern has an opportunity to score 2 power play goals in very successive fashion here, and they could easily tie this game.
Knox Keener with a high sticking call. Our resident bad boy here at Hockey Top, for D3 at least. He spent a lot of time in the penalty box. But this is going to be a crucial moment for Tennessee, as, like John was saying, Georgia Southern already capitalizing on the power play. So it's important for Georgia Southern to take as many opportunities as they can here early in the first, as both teams are really feeling the time. And it was really late in the third on Friday night that Tennessee really started to come away, and I really think that's due to such a small squad.
Yeah, for Georgia Southern, the roster sizes between both teams is a disadvantage for them, with Tennessee having so many more bodies and so many more players that they can utilize and put out there on the ice. So for Georgia Southern, power plays are really key because it gives them man advantage.
And not only power plays in early in the game.
Yes.
As we've seen.
Yeah.
Braden Jakowski Jazz Dewuski. Any Georgia Southern fans in the comments want to roast me for that pronunciation, feel free to. I did not get a chance to speak to that gentleman before the game to see how he pronounces his name, but try to chip in shot as Georgia Southern takes one more stab at a possible offensive power play force here in the first. 7:55 left to go. Tennessee at 2 goals. Georgia Southern at 1. 8 shots for Tennessee, 6 shots for Georgia Southern. And that'll do it for the power play. Tennessee finally getting a penalty kill. Peter Hoffman rapidly weaving through Georgia Southern Eagles, but not able to get past Kyler Rhodes, who did a phenomenal job on Friday night. Unfortunately, a bit of a devastating. Oh, nope, no goal. They're not gonna give it to him. We get some funky angles here in the booth. We can't quite see where the puck is sometimes, but no goal for Georgia Southern as chaos ensued down there by William Shine. It really looked like it went in there.
It looked like it went in. It was a great opportunity for Georgia Southern. A turnover there in Tennessee's defensive zone, not what you want to see. So Georgia Southern nearly capitalized it, but referee said no, Schreiner said no, and the puck stayed out of the net, and now Tennessee has an offensive pressure on their own here.
Yeah, if I were a betting man, I would say Tennessee's going to start to take back more of an offensive and more aggressive approach to how they're playing today, as 2 players team up on number 6, Connor Morrissey. Charlie Thomas, for Tennessee, getting wiped out there at the boards. And Georgia Southern will try to knock it out to break up looming Tennessee offensive play. And it'll be sent back to the point to Connor Morrissey. And Gavin O'Donnell as the puck is out, and Kyler Rhodes is no goal. And Tennessee still weaving through the Georgia Southern players. I feel like I'm looking at a power play opportunity here. Seems like Tennessee has a man advantage almost. And a missed pass will lead it outside of the offensive zone, and we'll get a line change, a much-needed line change for Georgia Southern, as Tennessee was getting ready to almost look like they would score there.
It looked like Tennessee was having a power play until one of them decided to go back to the bench, and mistake pass there. Puck left the zone, and Tennessee has to regroup here.
So Charlie Thomas back to Trevor Lundy, that was. And the puck is caught on the boards as Tennessee player will send it back to Gavin O'Donnell. He'll get a look at it, decides to go for the pass, and Jake Piriano. You know, there's Pellegrino and Pirano on Georgia Southern, and then we've got a Piriano. It seems like a lot of Italians on the ice today.
A lot of Italians on the ice. A lot of Italians up here in the booth with us. Our camera woman, Bella. She's got some Italian heritage, but
You
yeah.
Italian, John?
No, I'm not Italian.
Neither am I.
I'm more aligned with Brody
Jazz
Jadowski
Jazdowski.
on Georgia Southern. I'm part Polish, so.
Gotcha. So Tennessee will look to regroup, give Georgia Southern an opportunity to create some offense. Back and forth, it seems like we're playing volleyball. Puck will stay in the neutral zone now, and intercepted pass from Liam DeGroft. Little saucer there to the goal, comes up short, blocked by a Georgia Southern player. And Tennessee will find themselves back in their defensive zone as they create a flying force here. Another blocked shot by a Georgia Southern player. And a mean check on the boards there from number 28, Seth Hagan. And 86, Andrew Livingstone, the leading goal scorer for Tennessee, passes it back, intercepted by a Georgia Southern player as they take it back to their offensive zone. Block shot from Kyle Barberite. And number 77, Gavin O'Donnell will take it to the offensive zone. I'm seeing a lot of kind of almost confusion every time the puck gets open from both sides of the team. Seems they hesitate a little bit to go after the puck after they see it.
Yeah, I see the hesitation too. I don't particularly know why that's happening. It could be just the slow game, that we see in the first period here, as we saw in the first period in the last game. Both teams trying their utmost to get some sort of pressure going, make some plays, but a little sloppy here to start.
Yep. Nice chest save from Kyler Rhodes as we'll get a face-off in the offensive zone. All players will stay out on the ice. Tennessee really trying to find some footing to be able to get more cohesive as a team. Seems that stuff is all over the place for both teams. We were talking Friday night about a bit of chaos might be what Georgia Southern needs to get out on top of this Tennessee team. With being such a young team, they may not have, they don't have the experience that Tennessee has to be able to, know each other truly as players, know the plays that coach draws up and whatnot. And so that can lead to a lot of just get the puck, put it on the net, and see what happens. And that may be what Georgia Southern needs to fight this also chaotic Tennessee team.
Yeah, we definitely have to reiterate, Sawyer, that this Georgia Southern team is a very young team. Friday night's game was only their second game as a program here in College Hockey South, and you can definitely tell by not full roster size, but they're definitely trying their hardest out there. Currently, they're staying in the game, only down by a goal. So if Tennessee wants to put Georgia Southern away, then they're going to have to start creating more opportunities.
Another shot on net by Evan Joyner, one of the starters here for Georgia Southern. As the puck will head back there in Georgia's defensive zone, and they'll try to regroup. If I'm not mistaken, it seems like the puck is spinning a little bit, and that's why the all the players are really waiting for it to calm down before they take a stab at it, because the force of it spinning may cause the puck to go not where they want it to, into the hands of someone they don't want it to. And not good pass from number 6, Charlie Thomas to Gavin O'Donnell will send it out, but Gavin O'Donnell sends it back in, trying to regroup, and a missed pass from number 15, Jake Puriano. It doesn't seem that passing has been Tennessee's strong suit so far in this first period as it comes to a close. Tennessee 2, Georgia Southern 1. 13 shots on net to 9 for Tennessee to Georgia. We'll get a 12-minute intermission. What have you seen so far in the first, John?
I've seen kind of similar to what we saw on Friday, kind of a slow game between both teams. They haven't really gotten into the rhythm that much, but still 3 goals were scored, and especially for Georgia Southern, they got that one on the power play, and they've been drawing some penalties against Tennessee here that they weren't able to do in the last game. So that could prove to be a major factor here going forward if Georgia Southern can continue to get those man advantages, giving themselves good chances, because 5-on-5 Tennessee is looking pretty solid.
If I'm not mistaken, was this the exact score that it was at the end of the first on Friday night?
I think it was 3-2, but the difference between the two teams was the same. Tennessee had a 1-goal lead after the first period.
Absolutely. Some really great effort, really trying to find both teams really trying to find their tempo to see how they're going to play this game. Like you said, penalties seem like they're going to be a big factor, a big change from Friday night in this game, as Georgia gets 1 power play goal and 2 even strength goals from Tennessee. That'll do it here on Hockey Top for the first period. We'll see you back for second. I don't know how to do play-by-play. We're just going to talk the entire time because
We could just have a full-blown conversation.
I mean, that's what we're going to have to do. And at least we're keeping it on the topic of hockey for the most part. The problem is they don't tuck their jerseys in, and I can't see the numbers whatsoever. And so South Carolina may be better, but I also know Welcome back to Hockey Top in Knoxville, Tennessee. We've got a great game, rest of the game for you today. It's second period here on Hockey Top for Hockey Fights Cancer Day. Hockey Fights Cancer Day for Tennessee against Georgia Southern, as well as D1 later today against South Carolina. During the D3 game, I said this earlier, but I believe we had some technical issues and this was not heard. But before the game, the puck drop was done by the family of Peter Hoffman, but more importantly, Cameron Hoffman, Peter's father, who unfortunately passed away from cancer. But it was a beautiful tribute to him and his family, who was in attendance today and able to give the puck drop for such a special moment. And it was really nice to see them all in attendance for such an important game. So we'll get some, seems like, Bella, if you want to go down there, we got a, if you'll pan over there, yep, we got some of the employees here at the Knoxville Coliseum fixing up some of the ice, some of the ice the ZAM left over, as we've got a game to play. We gotta get this going.
Shout out to all the staff who works at the arena, for all these games that we do here.
Absolutely.
From security
And we know they're
personnel.
ecstatic to be here.
Security personnel, Zamboni drivers, everyone who works on the ice and behind the scenes, shout out to them. They make all this happen.
So Tennessee, going into the locker room at the end of the first, seemed very pumped. I thought they were going to start beating their chests as they went into the locker room, because at first it seemed like somebody was screaming out of anger, but then we got a couple woos, a couple yays, and they seemed pretty excited, and they're starting off strong here in the second. But what we were trying to say at the end of the first was passing play has not been as strong as it normally has been for Tennessee today. A lot of missed cues, a couple passes didn't even connect, which caused Tennessee to reset and a couple times give Georgia Southern the opportunity to get an offensive play going.
Yeah, the passing has been a little finicky. That has cost, it's on both teams, and it has cost each team's some pretty good chances. But 3 goals were still scored, so if the passing can sharpen up a little bit, I think we'll have a pretty good game here going forward.
And even though it seems like it, and this is, in my expert opinion, what I'm going to attribute this to, the reason Tennessee has been able to be so explosive, or how they were able to be so explosive on Friday, really is the endurance of Georgia Southern. It didn't seem like it, but somehow, some way, Georgia Southern just took a back pedal and let Tennessee get off a lot of quick goals late in the second and late in the third. And we only really saw that in the second and third period. It's a one goal game at the moment, with Tennessee being up 2-1. But after such a long, excruciating period with so many breaks like we're seeing right now, some puck and netting, puck out of play and offsides, it gets tiring. Sometimes it's better to just really go all out all at once, but it's important for Georgia to really try and reach down deep into the reserves of their energy to come out here and play as hard as they can for all 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's very tiring for this Georgia Southern team. I mean, their players are probably taking double the amount of shift lengths as Tennessee players in this game. So that can really, if you never laced up a pair of skates, those double amount of shifts can really put that extra strain and pressure on you. And So that's a major difficulty for Georgia Southern here that Tennessee was able to capitalize on the last game, and they're going to be looking forward to doing so in this game. And the clock, you know, we're having technical problems up here, but the person running the arena board here at the Knoxville Coliseum is also having some technological issues as the clock just continues to wind down here.
Yeah, so I again, we want to apologize that we don't have a score bug for you, so you can't quite see what's going on here in terms of shot goals, period, and penalties. All the information we want to relay to you, but we just can't in terms of technical difficulties. But like John was saying, Kyler Rhodes swallowed up the puck and froze it there in the crease, and the clock kept running for the entire time. And a great little poke there from John. We do have technical difficulties, and again, we apologize for that. But it seems that whoever's on the clock is asleep.
Or, you know what, I have a theory, Sawyer.
What's that?
Maybe the clock is continuing to run. Maybe the teams agreed to let the clock to continue to run even through all the stoppages. Maybe so that they can possibly get finished before the D1 game later today.
That would make sense. And maybe a bit of mercy to Georgia Southern as well, to kind of give them the opportunity to. Well, it doesn't seem like Georgia Southern needs any mercy, as a mean check left. I don't know who that was exactly, but left him on the boards. Wishing that didn't happen. Probably the wind got knocked out of him, but.
That was like a PK Subban bulldozing there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, and a breakaway opportunity here from number 10, Nathan Zimmerman, and he'll get caught up. And Tennessee will look to regroup. Another mean check. Georgia Southern really laying it on as a missed opportunity from Bryce Harmon comes up short. A really lucky moment there for Kyler Rhodes, as he really was in an unfortunate position out in the goal outside of the crease, and Bryce Harmon just missed the net. Golden opportunity comes up short. He already has one goal in this game, so hopefully it won't be the last. And then another great save at the other end from William Shine. Glove save. And Georgia Southern will take the face-off in their offensive zone. Skyrocket high above the net from William Shine. And Georgia Southern looking to make something happen. Is it just me, or has Georgia Southern come out stronger and faster than we saw in the first, and even on Friday night?
Yeah, I don't think you're the only one in that boat, Sawyer. Georgia Southern has looked pretty fired up. They probably felt maybe a little humiliated after the loss on Friday, and they want to show this Tennessee team that they have fight in them, they have vigor, and they've really started off strong here in the second period. They're keeping it to a one-goal game, which they were unable to do after the first period in the last game. So Georgia Southern, very strong here in the second period, laying big hits, getting good shots, and they'll hope to continue to do that.
And that puck will head to the bench at one of the Georgia Southern coaches, able to dodge it. Great catch there from one of the players on the bench. And we'll get a face-off in the neutral zone as Tennessee really, I guess, taking the back pedal, trying to calm themselves and maybe tire out what is left of Georgia Southern. And I was really hesitant Friday night to say Georgia Southern was lucky that it wasn't a worse output in terms of the game, because Georgia Southern is so young, so inexperienced, and has such a small squad. They really did the best with everything they can, and 10-2, as ugly as it seems to people who watch hockey all the time, is really good for the situation Georgia Southern is in.
Yeah, and it's the last game was definitely an improvement for the team. You know, letting in 10 goals on 70 shots. I mean, 1 in every 7. That's Georgia Southern, if I remember correctly, gave up nearly 20 goals against Georgia in their very first game as a program. So
Yeah, 19-4.
yeah. So Georgia Southern, you know, even just game by game are making very huge improvements, and maybe in a few games or a few years' time, they could look like a very strong program.
Yeah, Tennessee really giving Georgia Southern every opportunity here. And as Tennessee fans, we're going to say that's on purpose. But it does seem like a couple issues with miscommunication as the puck will once again fly out of play. Tennessee and Georgia Southern really just throwing the pucks all over the Coliseum tonight. Hopefully not in our direction, though. Not yet.
Yeah, and Sawyer, I'm sad to say, but my theory I said a few minutes ago seems to not be totally correct, as the scoreboard operator has fixed the clock and is now stopping the clock on stoppages. So, you know,
I guess they got their one freebie mess up for this period.
they got their one freebie mess up. I was thinking this might be turned into a soccer type situation, but I was wrong.
You know, hockey is really similar to soccer. I don't think many people realize it, but I don't think there's a whole lot of difference when you look at some of the basics. I think hockey and soccer are two of the most closely related sports.
Very closely related, but I think you and I could agree that hockey's about 10 times better.
I would have to agree with you on there wholeheartedly, as hockey is the greatest sport to ever be existed. And I think hopefully most of our audience would agree with that. A couple of great looks from Tennessee there in front of Kyler Rhodes, but not quite able to put it out there. Tennessee looking for a call, possible penalty, but if it was going to go on anyone, it seemed like it may be Tennessee with Georgia Southern player. You know, I don't want to allude to anything. Looked like he may have done a really impressive flop to draw a penalty, but no penalties are going to get called. Tennessee was very upset, though, on the bench. Not quite sure.
Yeah, the passing efficiency might be down a little bit in this game, as well as the shots on net, but it seems like the physicality has definitely been ramped up a bit. Georgia Southern had their one not so great game, and you know they're really looking to make a statement here against Tennessee.
Oh, and Tennessee player number 24, Matt Teresi, looks like he may have got the wind knocked out of him as he slid into the boards there. Number 22, Julian Pirino, as well, getting knocked down there, but quick to get up as Matt Teresi slowly finds his way to his feet, still bending over. He'll head to the bench and may get a possible line change. Tennessee gets some fresh legs out there.
Yeah, hockey might be a great sport, but you never want to see a player go down on the ice, especially if it takes them a while to get back up. So we're glad that he was able to get up quickly and hopefully shake it off as this game progresses.
And things are getting a little hairy on the ice. As Charlie would say, our regular play-by-play person who's out on some much-needed vacation, they're exchanging information. Is that right?
Yeah,
exchanging information on the ice.
Pleasantries, as I like to call them.
Pleasantries. And a Tennessee player will head to the box for a Georgia Southern power play. Caleb Kuhn. Tennessee fans, please roast me on that pronunciation and let me know how to say that correctly. Hearing
Georgia Southern, this is their third power play on the game. They've gone 1 for 2. Their lone goal came on the power play, and I mentioned this earlier. If they can get these small man advantages when they have a depleted bench, it could prove to be very crucial for Georgia Southern to stay in this game.
early opportunities and that'll do it. As this game is tied 2-2 on another power play goal. Tennessee is going to have to group up quickly and realize that penalties are going to be a massive weak spot for them, as Georgia Southern really is finding the best of their ability in terms of the power play. 60% now, as you're saying.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 power plays are coming up gold for Georgia Southern.
I mean, call me a psychic, Sawyer, but mere seconds after I mentioned how power plays are a good thing for Georgia Southern, they scored their second power play goal of the game, and we have a tied game. Do you think Georgia Southern could beat Tennessee today?
As a Tennessee fan, I'm going to say no way possible. This game is far from over. We're about at the midway point of the game overall. 10 minutes left in the second period. 2-2 now. Tie game here on Hockey Top. Tennessee's 19 shots to Georgia Southern's 12. This is a very different game, really, that we're seeing here on Hockey Top than we saw Friday night. Overall, if we do zoom out, if we zoom in, though, this is following a bit of the same pacing that it did on Friday night, where Tennessee got up early, got 2 goals, Georgia Southern quick response, and then Georgia Southern coming back, tying the game, and then Tennessee got a goal. Seemed like Georgia Southern might be back in, and then Tennessee ran away with it. I know that was a little all over the place, but that essentially was the pace of play we were following on Friday night. So we'll wait to see how this game unfolds.
How soon Tennessee could get the lead back in this game, will show us something. If it takes them a while to get that third goal, Georgia Southern may be in it for the long haul here in this second game of the doubleheader.
If you were paying close attention there at the right face-off circle on Georgia Southern's defensive zone, the puck seemed to get caught in Grant Dye's pants, and everybody was looking around. I thought he may have been injured, but they were all huddling around him. Maybe a fight was going to break out, but no, it was just a little equipment issue as he fiddled with his pants to kind of get that to drop out, and it did eventually. Who knew pants could be in such a situation for the puck to get caught in there?
Yeah. I won't mention any of my trouble I have with putting on pants in the morning, but
we all have them.
They got the puck out. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Tennessee so far has done a really great job of putting the puck right in front of the crease, right in front of Kyler Rhodes for some golden opportunities, but haven't quite yet capitalized on them. And it's not that they're putting it really, they're really just not there. And unfortunately, it's some miscommunication issues that we're seeing, because they're not even getting the opportunity to see what they can do, put the puck on the net, get a shot off. It really is miscommunication issues, I think, from what I see up here in the booth. But the good news is that they're getting better, they're getting faster, they're being more cohesive. So pretty soon, if this game does follow the pace we saw on Friday, Tennessee will finally start clicking and get a lot of goals on net and maybe find Kyler Rhodes' weakness again.
Yeah, but Georgia Southern, they're sticking in here. I would think things started to turn south for them early on in the second period, I think, in the last game. But right now, we're over halfway through this game, and they're still tied. They have an opportunity for a lead. So they definitely want to look for those types of chances that could get them that extra goal and possibly put Tennessee in a very not safe position, if you will.
It really is remarkable, all things considered, for Georgia Southern to be able to play with such a small squad and operate at such a high level that they're operating at right now. I would say, we are Tennessee fans, but you gotta look back and appreciate how well Georgia Southern is doing. And oftentimes we almost look at them like a lost puppy, but they need credit to them. It's a tie game here past this halfway point in the second. 8:30 left and to go in the second, over halfway in the game, and Tennessee just putting up about 6 shots more on goal than Georgia Southern, where Tennessee had 70 shots the entire game, only 19 now here in the second. Another opportunity right in front of Kyler Rhodes as he slips out of the crease, but Tennessee not able to do it. We were talking about how the puck finds its way in the crease for Tennessee. Oftentimes, as the puck flies out of play once again. I do have to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, we're becoming increasingly nervous in the booth here as the pucks slowly start heading our direction. I don't know if I've seen this many pucks out of play in terms of in the benches ever in hockey.
There have been a lot of out-of-play pucks, and especially in the bench areas. So luckily no one's been hit, no one's been struck in the face, no one's going to have a black eye for later, but I shouldn't say that right now. Anything could happen.
Yeah,
but,
we're going to knock on all the wood up here. I'm knocking on John's head right now. Make sure we don't get hit by a puck. And we'll get a face-off in Tennessee's defensive zone. Another thing that I've seen tonight is Georgia Southern winning, I want to even say like 90% of these face-offs. And Tennessee fighting in front of the net to get one on the goal. It seemed like 3 back-to-back there opportunities coming up short. And Georgia Southern will get an opportunity. Number 7, Caden Lemoyne, one of the goal scorers for Georgia Southern, will toss it back, and they'll try and regroup in their defensive zone. And Tennessee will take it, and Georgia Southern dished it out back wide in the neutral zone. Tennessee getting another opportunity, and it'll be offsides. Looked like they may have came with a little heat there as a possible odd man rush in the offensive zone was occurring, but an unfortunate turn of events left Trevor Lundy, I believe it was, past the blue line when the puck entered.
Yeah, Lundy just couldn't get back in time, and that was almost a great chance for Tennessee, but they've won the faceoff here, and they could have gotten some back from that.
Gavin O'Donnell now will send it back to Caleb Kuhn. And Tennessee, Gavin O'Donnell, a nice snapshot. Goes high on Kyler Rhodes. Pass to no one. Cross the line as number 16. Knox Keener will try to set it up in the center. Adam Carter with a wrist shot. Missed. And Caleb Kuhn will keep it in play for Tennessee. Another snapshot blocked by Kyler Rhodes. And number 13, Adam Carter, could not quite get to the crease in time to get another shot on goal. 2 unbelievable shots by Georgia Southern come up short, and a possible breakaway opportunity if he can weave through them. Nope, Georgia Southern says no way, no how. And number 5, Caleb Kahn, really putting on the heat here, creating a lot of opportunities for Tennessee. And Tennessee will keep it in play. As Christopher Albert sends it right to Kyler Rhodes' chest.
You know, Tennessee's definitely picked up here in the offensive zone here in the back half of the second period. Georgia Southern has been able to get some good back checking, get back into the defensive zone, but Tennessee is, you know, this is what we saw in the last game. They're starting to ramp up the pressure here a little bit, and I want to know how long the Eagles can stay on before something breaks through and the and basically the water wall gets broken in half.
Yep. Possible offsides there from Tennessee. Doesn't happen. Luckily, Georgia Southern got the puck as Tennessee flies into the offensive zone. And Georgia Southern will take it. Really great effort from Georgia Southern all around. You know, if you hear us talking about it a lot, is because, you know, this isn't something we see often. Such a short team being able to play at the level Georgia Southern is, really fighting any sort of fatigue that we saw on Friday night and looking like a full squad out there.
Yeah, they're looking like a full squad, and, you know, it shows something for Tennessee in that they have a few more extra guys than Georgia Southern does, and we still have a tie game. So looking forward to the rest of Tennessee's schedule to wrap up their season going into the next year.
Georgia Southern creating a bunch of opportunities in front of the net, really doing a great job of keeping it in play as some of the defensemen creep back there in the neutral zone, and we will get a breakaway from Charlie Thomas and blocked by Kyler Rhodes. Another great opportunity from Christopher Albert as Kyler Rhodes pokes out the leg and takes it away. Unbelievable goaltending from Kyler Rhodes to block any sort of chance of Tennessee taking the lead here late in the second. It is still tied, a tied game. 3:34 left in the second period. 26-16 shots on goal. 2-2. All tied here in the second as we finish it out. And a mean check from Connor Morrissey. And another pass to the slot. Missed pass to the slot, I should say, as it's sent back to the defensive zone. A little pass through the legs to himself from number 14, Peter Hoffman. And he'll try to pass to the slot. Unbelievable how many times we've seen a pass to the slot just come up short for Tennessee. There's either nobody there or a Georgia Southern player getting in the way. Georgia Southern really doing unbelievable defensive work. I want to say across the entire second period.
Yeah, they're definitely doing great on the defense here. Kyler Rhodes has been pretty exceptional here in this game. You know, the defense for Georgia Southern all around is just taking it seems like a giant step up from the last game. So they might be starting to get into their own rhythm and stuff. So Tennessee, they're really going to have to work on how to break through a increasingly feisty Eagles team.
Tennessee will look to create an opportunity. Connor Morrissey will take it in to the offensive zone. A snapshot wide. Another snapshot blocked by a Georgia Southern player, and they'll say it's still in play. No offsides call. But that will send it out of the offensive zone. Tennessee will try to regroup and make another effort here as we have 1 minute and 40 seconds left in the second. and it seems that Georgia Southern's had a couple looks at a possible goal, but really facing the same problems that Tennessee is in terms of defense. Unbelievable goaltending from both goalies tonight. Really lucky that William Shine was ready for that, as Tennessee broke up a very dangerous two Georgia Southern players eyeing the net.
Yeah.
The third period, I'm just going to look ahead as we have 1 minute and 16 seconds remaining in the second. Third period is going to be very interesting. I can just go ahead and tell you that right now, because at this point in the game on Friday night, we were looking at 6-2, I want to say, possibly 7. I think it was 7-2 at this point in the second on Friday night. So we were all but certain that this game was over, and the third period was really going to be a Tennessee show. But very different here as Tennessee puts it away. I'm just going to go ahead and eat all the words I was saying. Well, no, I won't. This is still a one-goal game. Third period is definitely going to be an interesting game as Tennessee finally takes the lead back late in the second. 48-7 left in the second. Adam Carter poking it right through Kyler Rhodes' legs there. I thought that Tennessee might try and regroup. I think Georgia Southern wasn't really, paying attention. I don't think they thought Tennessee was going to take a shot on the net, but Kyler Rhodes, often, a lot of times throughout this period, we've seen a lot of Tennessee shots go wide or really high or to the chest, but Kyler Rhodes, and another one! Quick from Bryce Harmon, his second of the game. Bryce Harmon is going to be officially on Hattie watch, and it seems like Tennessee can hear us up here in the booth talking about how we were set up for an interesting game. Tennessee really wanting to make this ugly late in the second. 30 seconds. So less than 20 seconds, Tennessee scores back-to-back goals. What's going on, John?
You mentioned right after the first goal that Tennessee scored was it's only a one-goal game. I was just about to counter you with, even though it was still going to be a one-goal game, that was the first goal was not what Georgia Southern needed because of a possible momentum shift, and you just immediately saw it right there as Tennessee gets a second goal very late here in the second period, and they now have a 2-goal lead. And for Georgia Southern, that has to be absolutely heart-shattering, because Tennessee now, they've got their rhythm back. They've got their momentum. This is what we saw towards the end of the last game. And now, from it looking like it was going to be a close third period, how much more can Tennessee pile on? That's the question here in the third.
Yeah, at the beginning of the second, we talked about how Tennessee seemed very pumped heading into the locker room for intermission, and I was getting ready to say we might see a more frustrated team heading into the locker room tied, but that is not the case anymore. They'll probably head back into the locker room pumped again as they're able to get 2 quick goals past Kyler Rhodes. Kyler Rhodes will definitely head into the locker room trying to reset himself, not let this get in his head, as Georgia Southern's done such a great job all game keeping up the way they have with Tennessee. And this is absolutely by no means done. We have a whole period left, 2 goals down. Third period is still set to be interesting as the second ends here, and things are getting quite feisty out on the ice. As number 2, Brody Jazdowski, again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, is exchanging information with the Tennessee team. Oftentimes we've seen a Brody he does seem to be the one down there chirping a lot, which a kudos to him for sticking up to his team. And a bit of information for you. Let's see. Who was it again that left the ice? Went down. I think it was number 24, Matt Teresi. Yeah, Matt Teresi is going to head into the locker room with his pads off, his gear off, with an ice pack on the shoulder. So it seems, if I were betting man, I would say Matt Teresi is going to be out for the rest of the game. Unfortunate situation for him. I thought it was just, maybe the wind got knocked out of him, but shoulder situation, that can be scary. So I hope it's all right, and maybe he just pulled a muscle. But John, what do you want to see in the third?
For Tennessee, I want to see, they got that momentum right back here at the end of the second. They finally got those passes down, the centering passes. They got good shots on net. They were finally able to break through Kyler Rhodes. And so just keep doing what you're doing. Take what you did at the end of the second, go into the third. For Georgia Southern, we've seen the 2 goals they've scored were off of power plays. So in the third, you want to see if you can get into Tennessee's head and possibly make them take more penalties, get more 5-on-4 opportunities, and if they can capitalize on a few of those, then Georgia Southern can be right back in this, and we could get this game to overtime.
Yeah, if I was Georgia Southern's coach right now heading into the locker room, I would have said, or I would say, chalk this up to, they really just got a couple good looks. Don't chalk this up to we're tired, we're out of the game. We're still in this, we're still fighting, we're still doing good. So hopefully Georgia Southern can come back and give Tennessee a run for money. But more hopefully, Tennessee really finds their footing, keeps up the momentum that they had there in the last minute of the second, and really puts this game away. We'll see you back here in about 12 minutes as we'll head to intermission, ready for the third. Welcome back to the end of the D3 Georgia Southern game here on Hockey Top. The score is currently 4-2 with shots on goal 29-19, all in favor of Tennessee, with 20 minutes remaining in regulation. This is bound to be an interesting game. If you've just joining us, it has been a much different tempo from both teams. Well, not really both teams, really just Georgia Southern than we saw on Friday night. As we see a much more inexperienced young Georgia Southern team really find their footing and play at the same level as Tennessee. Now, late in the second, though, at the last minute of the second, within 20 seconds, Tennessee scored 2 goals. Both unbelievable goals scored by Adam Carter and Bryce Harmon. Bryce Harmon's second of the night. Possible that we see another hat trick here against Georgia Southern tonight. What do you want to see for the rest of this period, John?
You know, I want to see both teams, just better passes. Passing has been a kind of a rough spot in this game. So I want the passing efficiency to be up. I want the competitiveness to go up a little bit. I want Georgia Southern to feel like they have a chance in this game, because they definitely do have a chance. And I know that Tennessee scoring very late in the second period with back-to-back goals was hard for them, but to grow this program, you gotta show some pushback, if you will. And so Georgia Southern needs to work on that, and if they can do that, they could get right back into this game.
Yeah, if I was a Georgia Southern coach or on the staff, I would definitely be managing the confidence of Georgia Southern at this point in the game, because we have 18 minutes left. Georgia Southern's 2 goals down. This is far from over. Georgia Southern is very much still in this game as a Tennessee player slides into the net, and he'll be slow to get up. Looks like he may have tripped on the ice there and lost his footing and absolutely slammed into the boards. And nope, we'll get a penalty. It seems that it wasn't the ice, it was a Georgia Southern player. A tripping call on number 96, Evan Joyner, will give Tennessee a very dangerous power play if you're Georgia Southern. We've seen what Georgia Southern has been able to do with capitalizing on 2 out of 3 of their power plays, running a 60% power play percentage. That's probably the craziest stat I've ever seen in terms of hockey. Everybody's calling for something. The Tennessee bench is very upset right now for a missed call from the refs, wanting to send it to 5-on-3. It'll stay 5-on-4 though. Tennessee regroups for a power play goal. But like I was saying, Georgia Southern very dangerous on the power play so far. Both of their goals being scored on the power play. Kyler Rhodes will cover it up. Adam Carter lost his glove there, back behind the goalie. He'll pick it up as they try and get fresh legs on the ice to score. 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining in the power play. 18 minutes left in regulation. 32-20 shots on goal in favor of Tennessee. Another very different stat than what we saw Friday night. I don't know exactly. We'll try to pull it up here what the shots on goal for Georgia Southern was. But for Tennessee, ended with 71 shots on goal to Georgia Southern's 18 shots on goal. Already more shots on goal here early in the third than they had the entire length of the game on Friday night, and Tennessee with far less shots on goal than we saw on Friday night. A real testament in the stats to how this game has changed and how Georgia Southern has improved as a team, really game by game. That's what John was saying earlier. Seeing a lot of improvement and really a testament to the players and the coaches of Georgia Southern to take advantage every game and take every game as a learning opportunity, as they've gone from 19-4, 2-10, and now 4-2 here on Hockey Top.
Yeah, those shots on goal, the difference between this game and the last game is really impressive. So for Georgia Southern, I mean, even if this game still ends in a loss, they'll definitely take that. They're allowing in 60% less goals they did in the last game. They're allowing over 50% less shots than they were in the last game. And, you know, Georgia Southern, they had a really good power play in this game. We didn't see much from their penalty kill up until this last penalty. They looked pretty strong in that. You know, they were able to kill it off pretty well. Tennessee, it seemed like Coach Zimmerman was screaming at them a few minutes ago. I don't know what for, but Tennessee didn't put out much on that power play chance.
Yeah, it seems like Coach Zimmerman is, very upset and somewhat understandable in terms of his point of view at how close this game has been so far, with Tennessee only taking a lead in the first and the lead in the second very late in the second with a lucky 2 quick goals. But he's very upset, I'm sure, from his point of view, because Georgia Southern is such a young team. This is their 3rd game of all time, and the game is Tennessee's only down 2, or up 2, sorry. And so I think Coach Zimmerman was expecting more of the finish that we saw against Georgia with 19-4 against Georgia Southern. And luckily Tennessee ran away with the game on Saturday late in both the second and third periods, making it 10-2. But again, different tempo overall on both teams here early in the third, with 15 minutes left. 32 shots to 21 shots, Tennessee 4-2. And Georgia Southern will take a defensive approach here, try to send it out of play, but Tennessee will keep it in. Try and regroup in front of the slot. Does not happen. They will send it high and wide to William Shine, and he'll freeze the puck for faceoff in the Tennessee defensive zone.
I think this is a prime opportunity for Georgia Southern here. They're down by 2. If you can get one of these goals early, especially when you mentioned earlier, the Eagles seem like they have a better faceoff percentage in this game. Tennessee wins this faceoff, but that Georgia Southern keeps in the zone, and a prime opportunity here. A goal early for Georgia Southern could help them get a second one later.
It really is kind of, I don't want to say their only hope, but it is their main hope to really get started early in the period with about little less than 5 minutes before halfway. And an unbelievable block from the Georgia Southern, players. He said, Kyler Rhodes, look out, I'm the goalie now, with some crazy stops. Got down on both knees, and he's going to go to the penalty box for it. It seems that touching the puck with your hands is not allowed.
It was looking like it looks like it was Matthew Pellegrino. You know, he stopped the first shot with the stick, which was okay. Then gave the puck up pretty quickly after that. Second shot, he shot blocked it and then used his own glove to try to cover the puck. You know, and he's not the goalie.
Yeah.
He's not Kyler Rhodes, so he's not able to do that. And Georgia Southern again on the penalty kill here in the third period.
So if Tennessee does not, or Georgia Southern, sorry, does not watch out, if they keep making these, careless mistakes late in the or in the third period, Tennessee really is going to get a great opportunity on the power play with a man advantage against a fatigued Georgia Southern team. And like we've said all night, Georgia Southern's running with about two lines, maybe a couple extra guys to throw in a little customization for special teams such as now, but not a full squad, which is really going to harm them here in the third, because they just don't have the opportunity to have a full squad and keep as fresh legs as Tennessee can. And so if Georgia Southern, like they have all game, is able to change the story we saw on Friday, where they did get tired and let off late in the periods on Friday, and if they can keep up their pace, then Georgia Southern might be able to keep this score the way it is. But if they want to possibly get back in the game, it's crucial that they don't make these penalties like they have two already in the third, and keep up their pace of play.
Yeah, Tennessee, this is now their second power play opportunity in this period, and a fifth goal in this game is really what they're looking for. Because I think if they can get that fifth goal, I think this game is over. That would be 3 straight goals for Georgia Southern. They were looking pretty good in the first period, the first half of the second period, but those late goals in the second period really hurt them, and they've also been committing very costly penalties here in the third, and a single goal here for Tennessee, and Georgia Southern might be packing their bags back down to...
Yeah, and we haven't talked about it, but this is it's a delay of game penalty, because Matthew Pellegrino kind of took Kyler Rhodes' place trying to play goalie, as Kyler Rhodes was trying to find his footing again to get back in position. But Matthew Pellegrino stepped in and tried to freeze the puck with his glove. We talked a lot about how Georgia Southern is a young, inexperienced team. It's possible that, they just didn't know that that's not allowed in the world of hockey, which is understandable. But I'm sure he won't be doing that again, as he's got 15 seconds left in the penalty box. Tennessee trying to make one last play at the net.
And, another delayed call here. Georgia Southern's going to go right back to the box, and
Tennessee will get 2 seconds of 5-on-3 play.
See, it looked like the guy going to the box right now, he was up right in front of his own goalie. He looked like to be the one committing the penalty, number 91, Grant Dye. Referee already had his hand up, so it was a delayed call, and it seemed like Dye continued to poke at the Tennessee player like he had nothing. He had nothing more to sacrifice, if you will. So Tennessee here, an extra 2 minutes on the power play. Already the third penalty on Georgia Southern in this period, and if they want to get 2 goals, they can't afford to keep doing this.
And Georgia Southern will get an offensive opportunity here, shorthanded. Nice snapshot. Probably would have went high if William Shine hadn't have popped his glove up there to catch it. But playing his card safe, Face-off in Tennessee's defensive zone on the power play, a situation you never want to be in. It'll be crucial for Tennessee to win the face-off here, as Georgia Southern's won so many, and they do. And so they'll regroup and get the puck down on the offensive zone, try and create something. Georgia Southern takes the puck behind the net there. And Tennessee will try to cut him off and fly through. Peter Hoffman, as he so often does, takes the puck back there, and almost, I want to compare him to Connor McDavid there, even though he's, I believe, a defenseman. Flies through back from the defensive zone and scores. And that might just be the nail in the coffin for Georgia Southern if they cannot find their tempo here about midway through the third. I know you were talking about it, if Georgia or if Tennessee was able to get that one other goal. It was, in fact, Peter Hoffman who scored that goal. He, like I was saying, he just flies through and does a great job of stick handling and keeping control of the puck and weaves through all those Georgia Southern players to reach the back of the net. Unbelievable. But more importantly, do you think the game might be just too out of reach here for Georgia Southern, John?
Yeah, I think it is because, as I mentioned, Georgia Southern took one too many penalties, and Tennessee was able to score on that. We have a player down here for Georgia Southern near Kyler Rhodes.
So a little bit what's going on. We've got Tennessee player heading to the bench, number 10, Nathan Zimmerman, and Georgia Southern player down on the ice.
Might be Evan Joyner, number 96.
Yeah, Evan Joyner. He looks like he's slow to get up there. I think they're trying to find a medical trainer. To get out on the ice. The Tennessee medical team to check him out, see what's going on, and they'll help him back to the bench. You know, things have been a bit more, heated throughout Friday and today. Things do often get very chirpy, very heated. Tennessee and Georgia Southern, they're a small team, but they've got a lot of passion and a lot of fire, and they've shown it. And there was a ton of roughing calls on Friday. Almost fight broke out, but not quite. And so it is kind of interesting because during warm-ups and between intermissions, a lot of times I've seen multiple Tennessee players with different Georgia Southern players talk with each other. It seems like they're joking now on the bench. They're with Tennessee and Georgia Southern. They're having fun back and forth. So it is kind of interesting to see how they're able to play with such fire and vigor and be upset with each other as it so often happens in hockey, and be more physical past what is the norm, and then be so friendly with each other between the breaks. I don't think I've seen such different levels of camaraderie in terms of play and not playing.
Yeah, and hockey's just one of those sports. I mean, there's a reason that at the end of every series in the NHL playoffs, right? Both teams go out there on the ice. They fought a tough series, but they do the handshake line at the end, because even though it seems like the teams are trying to kill each other, while they're playing the game, no one wants to be hurt. Everyone wants to have a good game, and they have respect for each other, and that above all else is really what makes the sport so great.
So 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining on the power play. 10 minutes left in the third as Georgia Southern gets an opportunity to maybe put themselves back in the game, possibly, but more likely really just soften the blow that they might take from a loss like this as the puck goes once again out of play. Multiple times the puck has gone out of play, into the bench, into the stands. I don't think I've seen as many pucks flying around as I have in this game as I've ever seen in hockey. And Georgia Southern capitalized on the power play. A third power play goal. All three of their goals stemming from the power play. It is crucial for Tennessee for the remaining 10 minutes of the period to not take any more penalties, as Georgia Southern says, bring it on. If you take the penalty, we're going to capitalize on it. And they have. 75%. That's crazy, John.
It is. That's pretty crazy. I mean, if there's... Remember, this is Georgia Southern's first year as a program, and, you know, the shot attempts might not be up there. The numbers on the bench might not be up there. Maybe the defense hasn't worked out so well, but if there's one takeaway that they can have, you know, throughout these first 3 games or so, they have a pretty good power play. I mean, 75% efficiency. Like, usually when you play a bunch of games, it sort of evens around 15, 20% or so, but I mean, 75% on the power play. Special teams seem to be a really good place for Georgia Southern, and they can take what they learned from that into an advantage going in the future.
Yeah, it looked like Georgia Southern took a timeout there, and Aiden Zimmerman met with the team and was kind of pointing at the scoreboard saying, take a look at this. It was 10-2 Friday, and now look where we're at. We're halfway through the third period, and they're just 2 goals down. And Tennessee is striking back with some feisty play as they'll try to, and Georgia Southern, will get an odd man rush, comes up short. And Georgia Southern will keep it in the offensive zone, try to get something going. It seems like their passion has been reignited as the hope of the game is not lost. They are still in this. It seems like maybe what we saw is them trying out taking a back pedal on the first half of the period so that they could come out stronger in the back half. As we've seen Friday and Sunday, Tennessee really shining in the back half of the period and running away with the game in the back half of the period. We even saw it in the second of this game, but Georgia Southern now striking back midway through, something we haven't seen in either game Friday or Sunday.
While Georgia Southern, you know, may have let their foot off the gas a little bit early in the third period, and like you said, they've struck back here in the back half, maybe letting in that one power play goal and giving up all those penalties, you know, maybe would have just been letting your foot off the gas a little bit too much. And, you know, if Georgia Southern manages to only get, say, one more goal in this game, they lose 5-4, and that one power play goal there would have been the game winner.
Absolutely. Georgia Southern will really look to draw more penalties from Tennessee as they're running an unbelievable power play at 75%. I was looking at the stats for the NHL last night, and the highest team running a power play percentage was the Winnipeg Jets at a 30%.
Oh.
So for Georgia Southern, a very young team to come out here run it at 75, that is truly remarkable. And And the most unbelievable thing here at the Coliseum is how quickly Georgia Southern is running their offense and defense, their whole team in general, on two lines. A lot of times in the NHL, you'll see maybe a change of from forwards and defensemen will change, but here in terms of Georgia Southern, you'll see the whole line change, which is sort of rare in the NHL. A lot of times they break it down into the forwards and the defense, but not here. It's important for Georgia Southern to really give all of their team as much breaks as possible, because with such a short squad, it can be easy for it to get out of hand. Who's tired, who's not, and keep track of, who needs a break and who needs to go out there. And so kudos to Georgia Southern to doing the best they can with what they've got. The puck will head into the net and out of play once again here on Hockey Top. 7 minutes remaining in the third period. Tennessee 5, Georgia Southern 3. Georgia Southern not at all out of this game. We're seeing 40 shots for Tennessee on goal versus Georgia Southern's 27. Like we said earlier, during the second, Georgia Southern had 18 shots on goal for the entirety of the game on Friday night, and already in the second they had gone past what they had on Friday night, and Tennessee is starting to show more shots on goal, possibly some more opportunities at the net now late in the third, but a drastic difference from Tennessee to put up 71 shots on goal on Friday and then come here today and only put 40 so far in the third. So the last 5 minutes of this period will be, of course, crucial for both teams, but really crucial for Georgia Southern to not let up on the gas and really stick it to Tennessee to see if they can possibly squeak out another goal to and I don't want to talk so confidently about this, but I will soften the blow of what will most likely be a loss here today. I know I may end up eating my words. I'm knocking on wood right now, but that's all we hope for here on Hockey Top is a win for Tennessee.
With it only being a 2-goal game, that gives Georgia Southern an opportunity to pull their goalie here and get a empty net opportunity down here in the last final 5.5 minutes or so, and we've seen that if Georgia Southern just gets like one extra man on the ice, I mean, they look like the best team in the world with a man advantage, and Tennessee for all the penalties they've taken, it's kind of their own fault that Georgia Southern is still in this game.
Great work from Kyler Rhodes there to finally keep it between the legs. Earlier, Adam Carter, I believe is who it was, scored a goal by poking it through the legs of, or no, it was Liam DeGroff. Liam DeGroff scored a goal by poking it between the legs of Kyler Rhodes. And Kyler Rhodes thought he had it, but unfortunately it squeezed past him. Well, not unfortunately. We're Tennessee supporters. It's great that it just dribbled on by him and passed the red line for a Tennessee goal. The second of the night. Bryce Harmon has 2 goals tonight. We saw a hat trick from Andrew Livingstone on Friday. The 4th player on the Tennessee team to score a hat trick this season. Bryce Harmon with 2 goals is on Hattie Watch. And if Tennessee is able to run away with the game here with less than 5 minutes remaining in the third, they could see another hat trick as another puck heads to the stands. I also said earlier that the puck is coming closer and closer to the booth. I am getting more nervous as these pucks fly more often out of play.
And you know,
I know Isabella, our camera woman, is looking pretty scared up here because of how close the pucks are getting up here in the booth.
I've been petrified, Sawyer. You know, I don't want a flying piece of frozen rubber to go directly to my face. And like you said, they keep inching closer and closer towards up here. And the lady down here who's on her phone, not even watching the game, you know, she was the one who managed to pick up the puck that just came over here, and sadly she couldn't keep it as a souvenir. She had to give it back.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance, those watching, to visit the Knoxville Coliseum, you'll see signs posted literally everywhere. Beware of flying objects, but it seems those in the stands, really in the danger zone today, apparently, are not being aware of those flying objects. But no worries so far. It hasn't hit anybody, and hopefully it won't today. As Georgia Southern really laying on the heat of Tennessee to try and get another goal here late in the third. You know, you were talking, John, about possibly pulling the goalie. You know, I've been watching hockey for about 4 or 5 years now, and it really is hard for me to understand pulling the goalie at a 2-point deficit. I was watching. I'm an avid Preds fan. Just a little fun fact for you in the audience. And last night at the Winnipeg Jets game in Nashville, Jets pulled the goalie with down 2, and it ended up being an empty netter, and it really is a tough decision to make. It's all about the confidence you have in your team and the belief, hey, can they possibly score a goal and get enough tempo to score 2 with a man advantage. And so I don't believe Georgia Southern will pull the goalie with about 2.5 minutes remaining in the third. And this is at no discredit to them. It's not because of how they've been playing. It's just in terms of the situation of how many players they have and the tempo that Tennessee has carried in the third. Tennessee is very quick to get at the net, get in the slot against Kyler Rhodes. So it's possible that even with how Georgia Southern has been operating with a man advantage today, that Tennessee would find that one little shred of that one little window, one little look at the goal and put it right there. And Gavin O'Donnell will get a look at the net. Or Andrew Livingstone, sorry. As a stick goes flying across the ice. And pass to the slot. Comes up short. It seemed like it was number 10, Nathan Zimmerman, right at the net. Got a little caught up and was very hesitant. Didn't realize what was going on possibly, and missed a great opportunity. Just put it right past the leg of Kyler Rhodes. He'll be wanting take back at that one and try again. And 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the period. He can absolutely get another look at it. And it seems Tennessee was the one who took the timeout earlier, and Georgia Southern will take their timeout now with 1 minute 29 seconds left in the third. Kyler Rhodes, the goalie for Georgia Southern, is still back at the goal, which tells me up here in the booth that they have no intentions of possibly making a play at an empty net here with such little time left in the third. He'll go chatting with the refs there. But Georgia Southern really just trying to look at, can they get a goal here to bring it to a 1-goal deficit and make Tennessee look a bit more confused on how people look at this score with, when we look at Georgia Southern's history in terms of games, a 19-4 loss against Georgia, 10-2 loss against Tennessee, and now 5-3 currently if the game was to end right now. Loss against Tennessee again. It's so remarkable, and really kudos to them. It is a loss, but it is nothing to be taken lightly. They've played such a good game so far in this game. Oh, and also it seems that Georgia Southern will take a play at an empty net as Kyler Rhodes is sitting comfortably on the bench. And Tennessee will get the puck, but not quite a look at the empty net. And they'll send it across the ice, wide right. It'll be icing.
Yeah, Georgia Southern pulling their goalie might be a little too late here. I think they could have done it earlier to have given themselves a chance. Only pulling the goalie in the last minute, you're down by 2. I think Tennessee's going to wrap this game up. It's looking like it's going to be a 5-3 victory, and not as good as how Tennessee performed on Friday night, but I'm sure they still feel pretty good about themselves that they were able to take care of this young Georgia Southern team.
Yeah, with the focus being on Tennessee, I really don't want to badmouth Tennessee here. I think they played great, and really at the highest level they've played all season. The focus is more on how Georgia Southern has played, as that'll do it for this game, a 5-3 victory for Tennessee. But as I was saying, Tennessee I think has played as great as they have all season. It really is Georgia Southern developing and learning as a team to come back and keep this at a 2-goal loss. This is very remarkable, and as much as it sucks to lose, they should be proud of themselves for how they played today and how they've developed as a team.
Yeah, good game all around for both teams, and if I'm not mistaken, this might be the D3 team's last game of the calendar year. Is that correct?
That is correct, John. That'll do it for Tennessee in Tennessee D3 in 2024. We will see you back here in 2025 if you're not going to watch the D1 game. If you are, you're going to want to just give us a couple seconds to switch to the link set for the D1 game. This will do it for Hockey Fights Cancer in Knoxville, Tennessee. For D3, we'll see you back in a little bit for D1.